Just off the main road into Muriwai, remains of a home destroyed in last year's Cyclone Gabrielle. It sits untouched, as if frozen in time.
There's those reminders, even still after a year, there's houses still right down to the road, and the cleanup took so long.
The popular beach town's only been open to non-locals for a few months since the storm hit a year ago. Deadly landslides claimed the lives of 2 firefighters and left behind 130 red-stickered homes, more than anywhere else in the country.
We were sort of right in the middle of that worstly affected area. It was a lot of uncertainty, didn't know what was going to happen. Some houses came down across the road, but in terms of the building itself, we couldn't get in here, but other people had it a lot worse than we did. We sort of just had to pivot, do other things for about 9-10 months. And just stay positive,
The violent rain of Gabrielle battered most of Auckland's west coast and flooded towns like Henderson and Kumeu. Last time we were here, the entire main road was flooded. I, like many locals, were forced to walk through it knee-high water just to get around. The businesses here behind me were submerged. It's hard to believe looking at it now, a very different scene to 1 year ago. Some businesses survived, some weren't so lucky.
We open only for takeaway services, and during the time the construction company they have here to check an investigation, and the insurance company also came here as well. We did renovations over the 1.5 months, so it's quite a tough time for us.
Cyclone Gabrielle moved down the country ferociously. Key roads were destroyed while flooding hit the Hawke's Bay, claiming the lives of 8 people. Hundreds were evacuated from their rooftops. Telecommunication and power was cut, leaving many isolated.
The fact that we couldn't actually communicate with our community to let them know what was happening, and we knew that people were trying to find loved ones and couldn't, because they couldn't get hold of them, and just desperately as the mayor trying to find ways to communicate.
Thousands of locals are expected to gather this week across the Hawke's Bay region to reflect. And while there's a sense of proudness of what the community's overcome, the losses have been big.
We have families that are mourning loved ones that they lost. We've got families that are mourning losing their homes. Some of them homes for a really long time. Some of them have lost their whenua, some of them have lost their business. While there is that feeling of pride and of hope of what community has come together to do, there's also that feeling of the extent of the hurt and the extent of still what's yet to come.
A lot's been done over the past 12 months to get communities like these back on track. A $2 million wellbeing package is being rolled out for residents, which includes 7 free counselling sessions. Flood prevention and future-proofing also a top priority.
The flooding was caused by stop banks breaching, and that sits within the mandate of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council. So they are investing around $270 million in fortifying and building resilience with those stop banks.
The protection and the cleanup that has been done should be protecting those communities in the same way that it was before the cyclone. For communities like Porongaho, it's slightly different. They don't have any flood protection out there, but they've had works done to look at restoring parts of the river and where silt is and all that kind of stuff.
For many parts of the country, the journey to healing's just begun as they bear the scars of the worst storm to hit this century.
When it's such a small community, you sort of know everyone, so you know how hard everyone was doing it. And I think it was just people had been here for so long, and then not knowing that they're going to have their family home to go back to, or not being able to pop over to their friends anymore. So they were so resilient in the community, and sometimes you can see the worst of people, but I think we definitely saw the best. People coming together, offering up their homes, and it just pulled everyone actually closer together. It was such a small little hub out here. So I think there's going to be some positive things that moving forward that we'll do to prevent something like this happening, again.
Glimmers of hope for the future now shining through 12 months on. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald, click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.